Hey everyone, today we're going to have, so to speak, a guide for lazy asses, for those who don't want to do anything at all, who just can't, as they say, find the time. You know, all those cognitive distortions, excuses, and so on. So, how do you finally pull yourself together and start doing at least something? For example, making videos on YouTube, like I do. My name is Igor Frummer. I'm the author and producer of a network of American YouTube channels. I totally get that many of you see YouTube as, so to speak, a creative profession. But believe me, the only thing creative about it is the name. The thing is, all the videos we make for YouTube, one way or another, are done according to a certain script. And all these so-called creative struggles, like procrastination and so on and so forth, are actually just a myth and a form of self-justification. Now I'm going to take a closer look at this phenomenon called procrastination, where it comes from, and what to do about it. Basically, how to deal with it. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. How do I personally deal with this? How have I managed not to lose my mind while running several YouTube channels at the same time? And how have I been doing this for about 10 years now? And why do I keep going? Why do I do this? Why can't I imagine my life without YouTube? Well, first of all, any procrastination comes from the fact that, one way or another, we get distracted by something. Watching TikTok, eating something tasty, chilling out, relaxing, going somewhere, meeting someone, doing some pointless crap like, I don't know, going to a bar to just sit around, basically doing nothing if you're a student, or just zoning out at work. Yeah, like, your boss comes in, where's the work? And you've just managed to finish everything quickly in the last half hour. So basically, your time just disappears into who knows what. You're just passively going through the day, living on autopilot, as they say. Why does it all work like this? Why is it set up this way? In our world, as you well know, everything is run and controlled by advertising. Tons of flashy banners, headlines, and all the rest. A bunch of free, cheap dopamine, so to speak. And in this case, we're talking about any social networks, about TikTok, about this and that, about advertising banners and anything else that can distract us one way or another. How do I personally try to deal with all of this? What do I actually do? What am I even doing? For example, right now I need to record this video. And instead of sitting for half an hour, you know, thinking about the script, or spending several hours trying to find something somewhere, some info and so on and so forth. Basically, spending half the time just watching endless TikToks, getting distracted by all of that. I just set myself a clear task, wrote down a few topics, put it all together into a single script that I'm now using to shoot this video, and made myself sit down and record it. Now, for the next 20 to 25 minutes, I'm going to record this video. After this, I'll have a short break, and then I'll record the next video. So that's the plan: video, break, video, video, break, and so on. I'm going to work like that today. I've set aside the whole day for filming. Tomorrow I'm going out. I'll have shoots on location. For those who don't know, right now I'm working on a channel about building in the forest. So, my friends and my team, we're going to the forest to build a house. And that's a whole different story. So today is a day dedicated entirely to this kind of talk content. Tomorrow is a day dedicated to construction. The day after tomorrow, I'll have a day that I'll spend on strategy planning, uploading videos, thumbnails, and everything related to that. I'll be working in the same format. That is, I work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. I practically don't have a single second for procrastination. Even in the evening, when I'm just sitting around, it would seem like I could do nothing, watch some reels, get lost in TikTok, and all that stuff. But lately, I've been doing two things. So, I've chosen two strategies for myself, so to speak, for what I can do. The first option is either just play chess, like mindlessly for half an hour or so, just zone out, or work on my English. I study English twice a week. I mean, again, to make videos for American YouTube, you don't actually have to know English. But to really understand this deeply, I need English, to understand bloggers, to catch the trends, to grasp the psychology, to get the culture, you know, the one I'm making videos for. So, in any case, I do need English. Of all the people who say, screw that English, they're partly right. But in reality, you won't achieve any big results in anything these days if you don't even know basic English. Like, damn, at least at an A1 or A2 level, you get what I mean. And twice a week, I study English. So, what do? I just call my teacher. He basically gives me a lesson. And besides that, what else can I do? I can learn some vocabulary, watch some video in English, write things down, read some sentences in English, and so on. Basically, I absolutely have to dedicate at least half an hour a day to this. And it might seem like, well, you can just get distracted, zone out, waste time on some nonsense, but I found a really simple solution for myself since I'm already glued to my phone. And the phone is literally made for zoning out, right? It's basically designed so you can offload half your tasks onto it and just sit there, do nothing, watch TikToks, reels, or some dumb videos on YouTube. So, instead of zoning out like that, I just sit and do something positive. Yeah, of course, it doesn't make me any money. Yeah, it's some kind of weird, abstract thing. Why the hell do I need chess? Why do I even need English? I've got ChatGPT. But one way or another, it develops my brain. In case anyone doesn't know, basically any activity you do that's connected in some way to intellectual development helps you level up. You can play some smart, interesting games, not just shooters. I don't know, maybe download a strategy game, like Dota. You can download Dota 2 and not just play it by wandering around aimlessly. Yeah, like, try to improve your skill every time, and so on, and so on. So basically, it's also kind of an alternative to chess. Or, like I'm doing now, try studying English. It's a useful thing too. Again, it doesn't have to be English. Pick any other language and study it. It's just that English is the most in demand right now, especially considering that we're working in the American YouTube sphere, and we simply have to. We're basically obligated to study it.
If you want to start your own YouTube channel, get it monetized, and earn like my students $200 to $300 a day, then now is the perfect time to follow the link in the description and check out my training lessons at my YouTube Academy. There, you'll choose a relevant niche for a YouTube channel without using your voice or showing your face, launch your channel in a trending topic, and of course you'll be able to fully automate all the processes. It's free for now at this moment. That's why I recommend all of you to go check it out, subscribe, and of course, finally start growing your own YouTube channel. Because right now, this particular field, making money on American YouTube, is exactly the area where you can consistently earn from $5,000 a month. And in many niches, you don't even have to create the content yourself. I've explained all of this in detail in the training. The link is in the description below the video.
It just so happens that literally everything in our lives tries to steal our attention. Our attention, or even, I'd say, our focus. You know, the focus of our attention is basically the main thing we have. Everything in life is set up in such a way as to borrow, well, let's say, to take our attention in one way or another. You're sitting somewhere in an office, at work, or wherever. Someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, could you please help me with something? Like, set up Photoshop. Something's wrong with Discord, Skype, X, basically, some random issue. You know, people like that come up to you. Well, okay, fine. So, 5 minutes go by, 10 minutes, 15. You go out, maybe to have a smoke or something, or you have to go somewhere, for example. So, you might take the bus. What does it mean to take the bus? It means walking to the bus stop for 15 minutes, riding the bus for another 40 minutes, then getting off and walking to your final destination, which is another 15 minutes. That's exactly why taking a taxi saves you a ton of time, and that's why it's more expensive. So you got there, you called a taxi, you got there, maybe sat in some traffic jams and so on. And all of that not in an hour, but let's say, in about 30 minutes. And in the end, even if you're taking a taxi, you can still use that time as efficiently as possible. You can just sit there, basically doing nothing, staring at advertising billboards, just watching people go by, letting your mind wander, and so on. Or you can bring your laptop with you and get some work done. By the way, I actually do that pretty often. I really like, in general, traveling in a car as a passenger. Even after I bought my own car, I still prefer sitting in the passenger seat rather than driving, because that way I can get some work done, think over ideas for videos, plan out my content strategy, chat with someone, solve some issues, and so on and so forth. So basically, you can make the most out of that time and use it productively. And yes, right now we've basically touched on one of the points, time. Everything steals our time. There are also a few other important resources. Secondly, it's energy, and thirdly, it's money. So, the way our world works is kind of interesting. Everything, in a way, tries to steal our money. Well, right now there's this really popular trend, like, poor Zoomers can't find a job or Wildberries. How can you go a whole day without buying some trinket on Wildberries? A lot of girls, yeah, Zoomer girls, make videos like that. Basically, all that crap. Yeah, that's a trend right now. This is what actually steals your money and will bring about the apocalypse for humanity. The thing is, poor people most often spend money on all sorts of crap they don't need. So, everything you earn, you spend. Basically, there's no spread, no difference, nothing gets saved at all. And, roughly speaking, you think, like, I'll always be able to make money. I'll always be able to make money. So you, like, earn it, blow the money, earn it, blow the money. But if you save up some cash, that lets you, at the very least, make your money work for you. So, what are we talking about here? Anything at all. You buy an apartment, buy a car, rent it out, or maybe you buy some YouTube channel that brings you money, whatever, a Telegram channel or just some kind of asset, right? Like, I don't know, you buy stocks. By the way, I really don't recommend it. It's total crap. I've tried investing in all that myself, like as an investor, watched all sorts of bloggers on the topic, so-called experts, analysts, and so on. You'll only lose money there. Don't even think about getting into it ever in your life. I mean, buying real estate is fine, but there's no point in getting into all those risky things. Basically, that's just another way to steal your money. In other words, you're stealing from yourself. So you end up in a situation where these resources basically start to control your life and limit your freedom. That's why our goal is, first of all, not our time, and second, not our energy. Because without energy, if we, well, kind of don't have, let's say, motivation, or simply an inner resource, a sense of happiness from the activity you're doing, then you just won't have that energy. If you don't have happiness, or even just a basic sense of joy from what you're doing, that's exactly why there are two different situations. One person goes and starts doing something with real enthusiasm. You wake up right away, say, at 5 or 6 in the morning without an alarm, just because you've got that little boost, that lift, that excitement, right? Like, for example, you want to go somewhere. I don't know. You've got a trip planned to another city or another country. Yeah, you're the first one up, and you immediately start packing your things. Everything, everything, everything. That's the kind of energy you have, right? If you're doing something you love, it's the same thing. You wake up and immediately want to get started. But if you go to a job you don't like, and so on and so forth, all of that just drains your strength, steals your energy. Or if you're doing work you don't enjoy, running a business that, honestly, you just need to cut off, amputate, and do something you actually like YouTube, for example, the way I do. That's a whole different story. That will drain your energy. Naturally, you'll get tired from it, earn less, and you'll be unhappy. And in the end, it will affect your entire life, your sense of fulfillment, happiness, and so on. How can you optimize your workflow and, basically, reset everything? Make, as they say, a quantum leap. Honestly, there won't be any secret millionaire success tips here. It's all very simple. I actually give this recommendation to all my students. By the way, almost in one of the very first calls, before starting any new big project, you need to clear out everything. Get rid of all the unnecessary stuff. Have you decided to start your own YouTube channel? Yes, since our channel is about YouTube, after all. Let's use that as our example. The first thing you need to do, the very first thing, is to remove everything unnecessary and leave yourself with a blank slate. Let's say you have a regular job or, for example, you've got some background tasks going on. You need to get rid of as much of that unnecessary stuff as possible. That is, everything that, so to speak, keeps you going, your life, and so on, everything that allows you to live, and so on, and so forth. You do only what you absolutely need to do, the bare minimum. Keep doing that, and cut out everything else. What counts as unnecessary? To figure that out, we need to make a snapshot of your day. So, what is a snapshot of your day? You literally take in throughout the whole day. Again, I get it. Most of you won't give a damn about this advice and won't do it. But that small percentage of people, maybe 1 or 2%, will thank me and say, Igor, thank you so much. I finally did it. What's the point? We take and make a snapshot of the day. Every, I don't know, half an hour or so, we note down and record what we've been doing for the last half hour, what we've been occupied with, and we write it down as honestly as possible, like read a book, watch TikTok, walked somewhere, rode the bus, ate, worked, I don't know, designed a thumbnail for a video, literally anything at all. We just take and record, write down all our actions. Watch the movie? Okay, that counts as relaxing. Everything, absolutely everything, we write it all down. And after that, at the end of the day, we sit down and look at what we did throughout the day, what distracted us, what stole our attention. Ideally, you should also, like, draw a line and write down what thoughts were accompanying us at that moment. Like, what did we want? What did we not want? Again, you don't need to play a role here. Like, that's it. Now I'm going to be the perfect version of myself. Today will be a super productive day, and I'll write it all down and say, oh, look how great I am. No, just live an ordinary day, the way you usually do, and record each of these moments so that you have a real, objective, complete picture of where your time is going. Because all the theft of your attention is set up this way. What is the trickiness of this trap? It's that you don't even realize how much time has passed. You just get lost in the moment. You look and, oh, it's already been 40 minutes, or an hour and a half, 2 hours. Or, for example, you start playing computer games, and suddenly it's already dark outside. That's it. The time is gone. You can't get that time back. That's why it's worth doing this kind of thing from time to time, so to speak, to move to a new level. Because you can see which habits are taking up your time. And if you pay attention to the habits of, I don't know, rich or successful people, those you consider successful. Although, honestly, in my opinion, that's all complete nonsense and rubbish. There are no such things as successful people in nature, fundamentally. Who said that he's successful? He says, I'm successful. I say, you're not successful, you're just A. You go around telling everyone, look at me, I'm so cool, awesome, successful. Well, okay, that's your subjective opinion. Like, happiness loves silence, in my opinion. So, here's what it comes down to. Do you, see some people as role models for yourself? Well, okay, go ahead and think that. Good for you. That's great. That's your right. But it's better, in my opinion. I always try to compare myself to myself, to focus on who I was in the past. That's the best motivation there is, in my opinion. Better than comparing yourself to some characters on the internet. Let's put it that way. Well, let's say, okay, this person, one way or another, has, a set of, certain habits. For example, I don't know, taking contrast showers, going to work out, playing some pool, billiards, bowling, whatever. So, in other words, they've got something going on. And if you interact with people like that in one way or another, maybe you've crossed paths with them somewhere, or you watch them online. So again, just watching, following someone online, right? Like, say, some kind of guide, spending a day with a billionaire. Of course, it's obvious that all of this is just an image, and it's far from the truth. But if you, for example, somehow get involved in some kind of entrepreneur community or something like that, you will see, in general, how a person like that thinks, what they do, how their day goes, and so on. how they live, and sooner or later, whether you want to or not, you will start picking up their habits. And so, in place of that very space you freed up for yourself, by getting rid of everything unnecessary, everything that eats up your time, that takes your time away, you fill it with the habits of those very people you look up to. And that's how a completely different reality will start to take shape for you. Yes, because in reality, your worldview, your beliefs, the way you see the world is essentially shaped by your environment. Your environment is your habits. Once again, this trendy word, my environment, like my people, I'm burning bridges, that's it, I've decided to start over, to live with a clean slate. That's all complete bullshit. In reality, your environment is everything, all together. The movies you watch, the books you read, the people you interact with, all of that shapes who you are. Understand this, get rid of the unnecessary, add something new and fresh. This was Igor Frummer, see you in the next video.